And what was the results of using that? Did it kind of calm down the eczema to a degree?
Oh yeah, I mean, I was I was on 2 different antihistamines, Protopic, a topical steroid, an antifungal oral, and an antibiotic oral. Like,
Mm,
you best believe, like, it was just kicking everything in my system. And of course, if you've ever used a topical steroid, it's sort of like magic. It like
mm,
takes it all away so quickly. And so even within, I think, a week, maybe 2 weeks of being on all of that,
mm,
I look like like, it helped so much. I remember my dance captain said, "Oh, you have your cheetah spots," because I was having hyperpigmentation from where
mm,
all the spots were, which is why I feel it was fungal, because it looked fungal.
mm,
And so I had these hyperpigmentation spots, which I didn't care about at all. I was like, "I feel great. I'm not
mm.
itchy. I'm able to sleep. Um, I don't have patches all over me now." So to me, it was like happy as a clam with all
Mm,
that, even if I had to take all that stuff.
yeah, yeah. And how long did that, let's call it honeymoon period, last?
I had to go on that concoction a few times. So I would use those things. I left the cruise ship, had my vacation, kind of got off of it. Skin was still not great. And then I would go back onto the cruise ship, that environment again with the sweaty costumes and things, start flaring again, go back on all of that stuff. But then I started having skin issues in areas that I didn't before.
Mm,
And that's kind of like where I think the real danger starts, because one of the symptoms of topical steroid withdrawal is you start getting eczema in other spots that you didn't before.
mm,
But back then I don't know anything about this. So I'm on this
mm,
concoction, and I leave the cruise ship again, and then I'm having to use it even after the cruise ship. And then I went back on my last contract before I got really ill, and they put me on cyclosporin,
mhm,
which is an oral immunosuppressant. You have to have bloods done for and things like that. And at that time, living on a cruise ship, trying to get your bloods done and everything wasn't a very easy thing. And then it was killing my kidneys. So now I'm killing my kidneys for a skin issue.
mm,
And I remember like not feeling great about it. I didn't see that it was helping very much, but it became like my normal to not have great skin anymore. And I'm still on these drugs. I think the longest stint I did of an antibiotic oral was 6 months, which is
mhm.
nuts to me. That's
Yeah.
such a long time to be on an antibiotic.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that was probably on and off for 3 years, all of that concoction of
Mm,
coming off of it, but your skin's not great, it needs to go back on. And by the time I came off of it was after my wedding in September of 2014. I remember my mother just being like, "Maybe you just need a break from all this stuff," because
mm,
my skin was just not happy. And I think she thought maybe a reset for me, and I kind of agreed. I was like, "Yeah, let's get off on this stuff." And as soon as I tried to get off of it, it was just like a bloom of red rash all over my back, near my pelvic area, around my wrist, and then my eyes would start swelling. And we just didn't know what was happening. And at first we thought I was allergic to something maybe. And I did the deep dive and, went to Google, which is a big no-no in the medical world of don't Google. What does Google know? And I remember going to my GP, and she was like, "Oh my gosh, let's get this." I'd had her since I was a little girl, she just wanted to see me feel better, gave me a steroid shot, and then put me on oral steroids for a taper. That helped so much. But then as soon as I started to taper off of that, blew up again. And that's when I found someone online with topical steroid withdrawal, or what they called red skin syndrome.
Mm.
And I was like, I look just like her. And she has all these symptoms that I'm having. And back then in 2014, it was so unknown. And trying to bring it up to a doctor, because I went back to the emergency room with our urgent care back in the States, like A&E. And the guy was just like, I don't know what this is. I don't think that's your problem. So he gave me another oral pack of steroids. And he's like, take it, don't take it. It's up to you. And I remember telling myself, we were like my ex-husband back then, we were about to move. And I remember expressing to him, I'm going to take this steroid pack so that we can move. I said, but if I have these symptoms come back again, I'm not touching a steroid. Like, I believe this is my issue.
Mm.
And that's what happened. It was January 25th of 2015. I got off of that steroid taper and I didn't touch a steroid again. And my body just blew up.